turn this to any direction that's going to do the siren, and it's really loud, so you can do it really fast and then come right back over to HF.
So I go just boom, boom.
Yep. Yeah, because if you left it there, it'd be like...
Yeah, it would be super loud. Oh my gosh. We're in a message series called The World is My Parish, and so we're here at the Shawnee Police Department where we're going to be learning about service. Well, here we are with Stephanie Saylor, who is the Master Patrol Officer here at Shawnee Police Department. Stephanie, would you be willing to answer some questions for us?
Absolutely.
So how long have you been on the police force, and what do you do here at Shawnee Police Department?
So I've been an officer for 24 years. The last 17 of those have been with the Shawnee Police Department. The last 2 years I've worked in our Community Outreach Unit, which is called CORE. It stands for Community Outreach, Relations, and Engagement.
So Stephanie, what made you want to serve as a police officer?
So I've always been interested in law enforcement because I had an uncle that I really admired who was a Michigan State Trooper. So it was always kind of in the back of my mind. But on April 19th, 1995 was the Murrah building explosion in Oklahoma City. I had a personal connection to that incident as I lived there at the time. And so I think watching the first responders, come to the scene, what they did for their community from not just Oklahoma, but from all around the nation made me really want to put my application in.
So this week we're talking about the theme of service, and I noticed that service has a lot to do with the motto of the police force, and I thought you could talk a little bit more about that.
Sure. So the motto of the Shawnee Police Department is serving our community with purpose and care. And that motto is specific to each individual, but for me, it means that everything we do has a purpose, that we're not randomly choosing what we enforce, that we're not randomly arresting people if they don't need to be, that we're serving our community with a purpose, with a care, and hopefully, regardless of the situation, we're doing something that's going to be beneficial for everyone involved.
Stephanie, thank you for sharing all that. I have a question. Can I see your cop car?
Absolutely.
Let's go.
Okay, let's go.
Well, Stephanie, thank you so much for that experience. I will never forget that, I'm sure. But it kind of brought up a final question I thought I'd ask you, which was, I'd imagine that when you have to arrest someone, it's probably a really hard thing to do. When you're there to serve and you have to enforce the law, and that person, maybe they're having the worst day of their life, or they made a terrible mistake, or they're dealing with some kind of illness, or who knows what they're going through. What is it like to have to serve sometimes when it's a really hard thing to do?
I know that I feel like God has a purpose for everyone, and He puts us through trials and things ourselves so that we can know how to help other people in similar situations. So when I'm dealing with someone and making an arrest, I'm always thinking in the back of my mind, how is this helping this person in the long run? Is this something that's beneficial for them? Maybe they don't see it now. How many times have we been in situations where we didn't understand what was happening, but later on we realized it was probably in the best for us. And so we never know, what our actions can do to impact others. And if it's making an arrest and it helps someone down the line, then I keep that in the back of my mind. So.
You mentioned that sometimes after you make an arrest that people would even talk to you later on and come and thank you for that. Did you say that happened to you?
Yes, so that has happened to me a few times where someone will come up to me and I may not have recognized them at the time, but they said, hey, you're the person that arrested me. I just wanted to thank you. A lot of times it's thanking me because they were treated with respect, or they were in a dark place and maybe that arrest brought them out of it or brought them to a place where they knew they needed to turn something around.
Stephanie, I can't thank you enough for the time to show us around and to teach us about service at our church as we reflect on this. And so I just want to thank you so much.
Absolutely, anytime.
Service. We can live in a very self-serving culture, but Jesus shows us another way to live. Jesus came not to be served, but to serve others. He says those who lose their life are the ones who find it. He invites us to take up our cross and to follow him in an example of service. We visited Stephanie Saylor at the Shawnee Police Department, where we learned how service is not always so easy. But God works through our service. He gives us gifts in ways that we can serve and be his hands and feet in the world. Jesus tells us that we're to serve him by serving others. It can be the needy or the poor. We can serve those who are hungry, thirsty, those in prison, those who are sick. There are all kinds of ways to serve, but God works in every way that we feel led to serve. And so I want to challenge you to find a way to serve that God might work through you.